Hello, namaste, and hola, my friend Fries and beautiful Ryes. In the last episode, we managed to. Uh oh, I've got a cat coming my way. Alright, never mind, she's chill. But in the last episode, we managed to organize our horses, and the last of our crops had finally grown. I believe we are on day 22. Okay, yeah, we're on day 22. Did I eat any bread the day before? I ate one. Okay. Um, the last potato finally grew, so we could go to this get the string from the spider farm. But I got distracted with a lot of talking, and oh my God, was it a lot! I apologize to anyone who just sat through it, because I know I'm the kind of person who if I don't, I'll just sit through something because I don't know, something in me just tells me it's wrong to go and ignore someone or something like that. I don't know. Um, but I said a few things and I wanted to correct some things and give a little more detail on some things. And I think as I was speaking, some things I cut myself off and just started a new topic, or I didn't really give a good explanation to things. And at this point, I'm going to turn up the volume. So if you are using your anything, headphones, or just having your speaker on, a heads up, I'm about to turn the volume up in 3 seconds from when I'm done saying the sentence. So, 3, 2, 1, and I am turning up the volume. It's going up, 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 and okay, all right. So this is going to be the volume that I talk at for now, at least for this video. I hope it's not too much. I My mic picks up a certain I don't know. It picks up some sound, and oh my God, what is this? Where is this? What am I seeing here? Oh, I'm looking up. Okay. I was so confused. I was like looking here and I was like, where's the ground? The game is glitching. Oh my goodness, that was so funny. Okay. All right, time to get to the spiders. Now, one of the first things I wanted to bring up was I mentioned that I had been given a lot of things and I had some expectations. And some of those expectations, let me see what I wrote down here. Oh, were for myself. So the expectations I had, some of the expectations were that I would expect myself to be a great leader. I don't know if I mentioned that. I expected myself to inspire others. I had expectations, not because of what others told me that I should do. I understand I was doing things for others. I mentioned that, that was a lot of my focus in life. But a leader was who I saw myself to be. I was thinking, like, you know what? This is what's in my heart to want to do or be. And I don't know where the inspiration came from that, but I wanted to, um, I mean, yeah. And let me get to a safe spot before I get to the next couple points. I wrote down the things that I was going to talk about. Oh no, 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 no. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I definitely need to light up this area. Let me eat. Okay. Um, Next. So two things. One, I mentioned. I said deacons, but that's a Catholic thing. So that happened after Jesus's whole situation happened. So there weren't any deacons back in the time. But I also mentioned the need to love oneself, and I'm sticking to that. I'm not saying that God doesn't want you to follow Him if you're a follower. You do just follow Him. But what if that has helped you, I'm not saying to turn it around because I had this experience and I think it's wrong. What I'm saying is, if whether you're a follower or not, if you do not know yourself, if you do not love yourself, if you do not know who you are not going to be of any use to God. Because Jesus, um, even though the world was telling him he was a carpenter, because that's what his human father did, and all these other things, he went out and said, well, I know who I am. Um, and though I may do what the world has required of me, oh no, I went the wrong way. I was supposed to go to the spiders. Um, I mean, it didn't say in the Bible. He didn't literally say this, but he basically said, by doing so, he took on the role of a carpenter, um, a craftsman, but he also kept in mind what his goals were. So if you have a worldly task to do, there's nothing wrong with it. It is part of who you are. Getting to know yourself is, I think it's an easy step, but sometimes it can feel very difficult. Now, um, I can't give you a full guide on how to know yourself, but there are some things in my life that have helped me to understand myself better and really figure out who I am. It took me a while, so I'm hoping just I could consolidate what I've learned and give you the best fast recap so that you are set on your way. I will try to do that a little bit later, maybe in another episode. We'll see how much time we have today, but I'm going to go over um, just finding yourself, and we're going to do that together. I'm going to put that in a book. I'll probably call it Finding Yourself. And it's just my understanding, my interpretations of the things I've experienced, and maybe you can write a better guide. But there's nothing wrong with writing a guide that can help others, because sometimes what doesn't help one person might help another. So yeah, or if it has helped you one person, there's a possibility that it can help others. Some things are very oddly specifically situational, so those situations might be set apart, but that's okay. We start where we can. Um, let's see. Oh my goodness, this one's an embarrassing one. Talking about uh, talking about the football situation. I asked if someone will hate others for loving a group of people that speak another language, because the fans, at the stadium at least, they seem to love the Bad Bunny performance. Now, let me see. America's identity, I think, is a mixed group of people that love and accept each other. And there are a lot of people who don't like that. And I don't know what to say to that, because if you think about the world, just take out religion from it. We have an understanding of where everything is at this point. We know a lot about the world. We don't know everything, obviously. That's not going to be possible for anyone. Um, but we've Jesus let others into his community, and I don't know, he he wanted to help the Gentiles, and he helped Romans, like the centurion who needed help for his servant, and Jesus healed him. Jesus heals so many people, and that's a personal belief. I don't know. Moving on to the next part, I also mentioned that Nicodemus, oh my goodness. Oh no. Okay, got to do my food journal. We slept the night. Did I eat? Not yet. Okay. Uh, day 22. So day 23, we start off with 43 bread. Um, day 24. That's going to be tomorrow. I'll figure out how much we start out with then later. But for now, let me eat and go to the spider area. Um, but I mentioned Nicodemus, something about Nicodemus, and I said that he also, not he also, but that like him, people are confused after believing they're reborn. And Nicodemus was trying to understand what it meant to be reborn. He did not say he was reborn. I honestly misspoke. I got flustered and I just kept speaking, and some things connected where they shouldn't in my mind, and as my words came out, it said the wrong thing. Um, Let me see. I'm going every time I stop. I'm actually going back to read what I wrote so I could try to quickly uh, do a recap. Um, oh, and here's the deeper one. I mentioned something about the end times and that we won't know when it's coming. And personal opinion, not, but in terms of the end time, once you know who you are, you know what to do, in my opinion. And when you know what to do, you personally are not worried about what's going to happen to you. And you will know that you will have done your job as is necessary. So you don't have to. Obviously, there's some people you don't want to save because, well, some people don't want to save. And at that, it's like, well, don't worry about them. You won't save them because eventually you'll run out of time. You can't save everyone. You can try to save everyone you see, but you're just going to run yourself empty and dry. And um, we're just, the end times, whatever that is, whatever that means, um, I think it's important to instead focus on the right now, because the end is going to come. And I think the world is tired of hearing about, like, the outside world is tired of hearing that I'm not going to be saved unless I change. Whenever it's going to end, I'm pretty sure the people in the world know. Now, there's two beliefs on how it's going to happen. Some believe that it's going to just it's going to be a set day, and on a set day it's going to just happen. But some people also believe it's going to happen over time and it's not going to be a one and done thing. Um, but that's something we can discuss at some other time, because like I said, I'm not a scholar. I don't know anything about it. I'm doing my reading still. Speaking of doing my reading, before I get back to what I needed to correct on the last video, I wanted to add one thing that I've learned about the Cain and Abel story, because like I said, I'm trying to do reading. I'm a little behind on the Bible plan from the app, but I looked at the King James version and the New International Version, and they both say that Cain was basically blessed by God. And I think it's funny because everyone's talking about how cursed Cain was and how he's living this horrible life and all this other stuff. But if you really think deeply about, in the English version, what is happening, here's a short. It's not really short because the story itself is about this long. Maybe the story is shorter than what I'm about to say. But essentially, after he's killed his brother, God says, "You can't be here anymore. Get out." And Cain's like, "I'm scared because someone's gonna do what I've done to my brother, so someone might kill me too." And God's like, "No, no, no, that's not happening, because I'm going to give you this mark, and this mark is basically saying you belong to me. You are mine. So even though you aren't here, no one is going to hurt you, because if they hurt you, I'm going to uh, I'm going to do something about it." So essentially, Cain Cain is still loved by God despite committing this horrible deed. Um, he's just told, "You're not welcomed at the place you've committed the crime." Um, yeah, that's just a short part. I have more to say about it, but that's for another time. Um, I'm thinking I want to do a an uneducated interpretation of the Bible, um, and maybe an uneducated interpretation of the Bible from an uneducated agnostic. That might be a good one, but I don't think I'll do that on this channel because this channel is, it's not about, um, if honestly, if I did that on this channel, I would have to also do a lot more other things, which would be challenging. So I would also have to learn with you guys to read another language, um, because I would, honestly, I think it would be awesome to read the Bible in its original few languages. So Greek, Hebrew, Aramaic. I don't know if Latin was in there, but just reading the Bible in its purity, because the interpretations we have, like the King James and the NIV, like they're essentially the same thing meant for different times of English, and it's like, okay, they still have some slight differences, and because of translation, it's going to have different. It's going to be slightly different from the original, and I would like to understand what the people of the time felt when they said the things that they said. You know, the words, they mean something differently in the language they come from. Um, let's see. I also mentioned that we need to learn things. Oh no, what's happening? Oh, okay. Where did that? What? Where did that skeleton come from? What the heck? A skeleton was being harmed somewhere, but where did it come from? There's no place for a skeleton, right? That's curious. Okay. Um, let's see. Yeah, I just think it's important to understand where the text comes from because I don't know. It's just, it's a thing. I'm, like I said, I'm agnostic, so I have mixed. I'm basically in the middle. You know, there's some unbelief and there's some belief. Um, but I think we learn from others, and we can't learn from others if we only take the translations. You know, and one of the things is I also mentioned that I'm not doing fries on Rise for God, and that's such a strange statement because, um, in a way, I am kind of doing it for God, but it's also a prideful endeavor. Um, and I don't know. Um, I had something I wanted to say about it, but I didn't write it down. I wrote down like footnotes. Um, essentially, I am. Yeah, I don't know. Mm, I'm reading some of what I wrote, and it's a little much. I'm trying to figure out if I want to include it in today's video. Um, oh, the skeletons spawned in the darkness. That's funny. That's great. Okay. I didn't see it. I was distracted. Um, but it is what it is. Uh, I had some things about my personal opinions. Like I was saying, hell is also, heaven and hell are both a part of Earth. Um, but let me see. Yeah, one of the things Jesus said was to teach nations and teach them, baptizing them in the name of the Spirit. And I think the way it's written in English, um, the meaning I'm getting out of it isn't teach and baptize, but by teaching they will be baptized. So he's not saying convert anyone. The conversion isn't what's important, but understanding is understanding the truth and having that. Oh snap! Okay, gotta take my rest. Too many monsters nearby. Got to find a spot away from the spiders. All right, here we go. Next day, I start out with 41 bread. Okay, I'm just. I wonder how much string I have. Oh my, I have plenty of string. I have plenty of leads for the horses. I will collect a few more because I feel like I'm going to need leads later, and if not leads, I will need string. Ow! Um, I don't want to collect a full string. We'll see how the talking goes and what happens in the meantime. Um, and another thing I mentioned in the Chosen, Jesus removing a demon from someone that was basically attacking his followers. And I'll be honest, I don't remember exactly what he said. But he asked the person like, what is your name, or something like that. And it wasn't whatever I said, because I said a bunch of stuff, and I was just like thinking like he said something that felt something like this, but like I'm honestly really bad with words sometimes. um, but I kind of get the feeling sometimes it's like, okay, I got to try to do a little better on uh, what I say in terms of uh, saying what someone else has said, um, repeating others. um, let me see. Oh, and you know what? I wanted to talk about a little bit about fear. So this is something that I learned through my time with the Bible, but about courage and uh, just being yourself and sharing the truth despite your fear of others. And I'll be honest, when I talk to others and they're of a faith and they believe a certain way, when I hear what they believe on the outside, I realize I'm just like, okay, that's a pretty cool belief. Believe what you believe. I still love you. It is what it is. But I realize that internally, this has happened with some experience over time. Like I didn't. This doesn't happen instantly, but I realized that I become the kind of person who becomes afraid to talk to others because I'm afraid that they're going to judge me or push me away or dislike me for the beliefs that I have. Um, and here's my fear about the church. I have more fear towards the church than I have for the love of the church. But, I love God and Jesus, even if I don't know if they're real or not. But my fear is like um, the people. It doesn't talk about the people's fear in the situation where Peter walks away from them because other Pharisees come by. So I have the fear of whatever those people probably felt when they were eating with Jesus's disciple. Like, this guy is here to bring the news. He saw what happened. He was with the man, and all of a sudden, someone from the church comes in and they don't like me, and this guy walks away from me and says those people are more important, so I'm going to go back to them. That's devastating. And I just imagine Christians being like that, where they're like, "Here, I'm here to spread the message. Are you here to hear it? Okay, cool. You're here to hear the word. Oh, you're not gonna change. Yeah, you're going to hell. I don't. I'm gonna keep telling you you're going to hell until you make the change because you need to know you're going to hell." And it's like, you know what? I don't need that. If I'm going to hell, I don't need to be told a million times. I need you to help me get out of it, and not constantly tell me something that I already know you know? And some will be like, but I'm telling you how to change. You should just change. And it's like, no, that's not how it works. Jesus didn't explain how he was going to heal people, he just healed them. And for some people, the healing came through time, it wasn't instant. So, yeah, it just, yeah. Um, and it's part of it is because I've been told, the Bible's, I don't know if it's in the Bible, it probably is, but some people are like, your feelings can be fooled. So I'm not, if you tell me that you feel this thing about what you've experienced in the Bible, then I'm not going to believe you because a feeling is something that is human and it can't be trusted. And it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. You can't trust that. So you don't trust the Holy Spirit then, right? Because you're essentially saying the inspiration and the knowledge that one has gained, it can't be from God unless it's the way you interpret it. Like that's a little cray cray because Jesus interpreted the entire um, Torah in a way that his people did not see it as. So maybe like I just oh my goodness, just so much pressure. Um, and I'm not looking to deconstruct Christianity. I like I'm an outsider in the community and I want to learn and I want to grow because there's two ways it can go. Well, I guess there's three ways. I can either decide that there is no God at the end of this and everything is bad from religion, right? I could just say that people are confused and crazy and gods don't exist. Or I could be stuck in this constant loop of, I really want to believe, I want to have faith, I want to trust, and I don't know how. Like I think I do just because I want it, but like what if wanting isn't enough? And then I could just full blown go one direction and be like, this is my religion now, and I hope people will be my thing because I've learned that my thing is the best. I mean, maybe I'll hopefully still maintain my humanity and not drown people in the word. I think it's funny because some people, they, when they try to convert others, instead of being like a light rain that showers and grows a plant, they come in like a flood because they're here to destroy. And it's like, whoa, my dude, slow down a bit. Like, seriously. Um, Let me see, 24. I started with 41. When did I eat my last bread? Today? I believe it's day 24. I hope it's day 24. But it is about to be day not 24. Let me go back with the string that I have. Um, yeah, this is exciting. I finally got some string. I can go organize my horses the rest of the way. But before I organize my horses, well, no, I'll organize the horses first. Well, I did the farming. I want to do the farming in a different way. I want to do larger plots, some of them closer together. I want to do a bunch of different plots, and it's going to be a lot of work to do all the plots that I want. And it really puts into perspective how much work gardeners do to feed others, even if it's just to feed themselves. Mm-hmm. Um, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to go collect some leather and uh, paper to make a few. Oh, I have books. That's right. I don't need to worry about making books. I have books. Now, I don't remember if my books are in my library or in my enchanting room area. Alright, it will be dark by the time I get back, so hopefully I can do this fast. And I think one of the things I'm going to do in my book, the next book that I'm going to make, we'll call the book Finding Myself. So I'm going to vaguely write down what my answers. Just um, I'll be honest, I'm a little scared of sharing personal information. I'm still growing and learning. I'm not very smart, and I think it would just be wise for me, at least, not to share too many personal things. But I will try to share what I can in a way that you won't feel like I'm leaving everything out. So one of the things would be to finding yourself and getting more organized is not like I'm gonna say who you are, is know who you are, but what by that I mean is know where you have been put on this earth. So know who your parents are, who your siblings are. Uh, you can, for some people, it might also be their community members, like their church members that they talk to the most, maybe their pastor. For some people, it'll be a teacher, others, it'll be their neighbor. And for some, it'll be a combination of many of these things and others. Um, but what that does is the reason for this step is because when we know who we are, then we can separate what we are doing for ourselves and what we're doing for others. And some things are both. Some things you do for yourself and others at the same time. Um, and those habits I want to also separate in the Finding Myself book. I'm kind of excited for that. The Finding Myself book. It's oh my goodness. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. Here we go. Oh! Oh, gotta move. Uh, oh my goodness, okay. Here we are. I'm gonna collect a book and then we'll organize our horses. Alright, it is nighttime, so I'm going to just sleep. Day 25, 38 bread. That's how much we're starting out with. I'm gonna ignore the hunger because I'm just being bad scientist right now. Now, if it's your job, don't do what I'm doing. Don't decide that I'm not gonna do half of my job because I'm. Uh, I mean, maybe you can. It's like I said, this is Minecraft. I'm doing this for fun and for love. This is a fun project. It's not. I can do a more serious one later. Hopefully. All right. Now let's see. We have. What kind of book do we have here? Nope. Enchanting. Art. Enchanting. Oh, okay. I don't have book and quills. I just have regular books. I'll take one of these. I need a feather and ink sac. So, not food. Mob drops? No. Mist? No. I will take. I can't take a feather. I'll put away some seeds. Some sugar cane. Put away the dirt. Wood stuff. Fence. I might need the fence. I'll probably need the sticks. Put this under mob drops. All right. Well, we made it back home. We've collected some spider strings, and I think I'll collect the horses later. But for now, thank you all for stopping by today for today's episode. I really appreciate you just being here, and to those of you who've been here for a while, it's awesome that you're still here. I appreciate you, and it's nice to see that uh, some of what I'm saying, even if not all of it, is worth something to others. And to new people, I hope you stay and continue to stay. But if you don't, that's okay too. I understand. These are kind of boring videos. You don't want to just see some guy just doing what you could do on Minecraft. I have this belief with sports, for not with sports, but some things I'm just like, I don't like watching others do. I want to participate myself, and if not participate myself, I want to find someone who's better at it than others sometimes. Yeah, I don't know. But uh, anyways, thank you all for stopping by for today's episode. It's been a lot of fun. I appreciate every single one of you. If you enjoyed today's episode, it'd be awesome if you could give us a like. If you think someone else will enjoy this episode, um, a share would be the best way for them to enjoy this. Um, and if if you have any questions or comments for us, you can always leave them in the comment section down below. Other than that, if you want to continue on this journey with us at Fries on Rise with whatever it is that we happen to be doing at the time, you can always subscribe to us as well. We're always looking forward to uh, just growing the community. You guys are great, every single one of you. Um, and with that, I guess I'll see you all in the next one. Get ready to hopefully find yourself. Maybe not, but it's a journey for each and every one of us. We find it in different things in different ways, and however we make it in the end, I I want us to find a good place here, whether we find a good place in the next life or not. So yeah, it is going to be fun. I love you all. Have a great one. See you next time. And sorry this episode was out so late. Oh my goodness.